guys, it's Steph here from Spun Gold Naturals, and I figured today I would show you how I paint my Sugar Skull bubble bars. I had one left over from a batch, so this is what I got here. It's been drying for about 2 days. Typically I like to paint them before they're dry, honestly, because that will prevent the mica from seeping into the cracks here. If it does crack and then it kind of bleeds, I mean, I think I'll be good though with this one. For the bubble bar recipe, I use Irene's at Bonbon. I'll have the link down below in the description. And alright, so let's get started. First, that sounded so YouTube-ish. Alright, so firstly, I use rubbing alcohol. I know some people use oils. I use 91% isopropyl alcohol, and these are the colors I'll be using today. Let's see if you can see these. And what I do is I add a little bit of alcohol because you don't want it to be too soupy. That will make it bleed worse if it's going to bleed, and you can always add more if you need to. This usually takes a good while. I'm pretty precise. I will throw it out if I don't like what it looks like. Might not be profitable, but oh well. It is relaxing to do it, and I like it. So let me start here. First, I'm gonna start with the eyeballs, I think. With a little dot inside the eyeballs. I'm gonna make them yellow. And if you notice here, what I do is I kind of just like drip it in there. I don't actually paint it. And then without completely pressing down on the bubble bar, I just spread it out a little bit. I found that this gives it better coverage. It looks more opaque, and it's a lot easier, honestly, because you don't really have to worry about messing it up. You just let the mica paint follow its path. And you can let that dry and do it again. I normally go over all the other parts with the different colors I'm using, and then I'll go over it again with the second coat, just drop some mica in there just to make it more bold. I also have, you might hear that, is a little bowl of rubbing alcohol so I can rinse my brushes off in between colors. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the gears here on the skull, these guys. And I got this awesome metallic mica from TKB. I love it. It is it's called Forged Khaki, I believe, and it's just so metallic. It shines so beautifully. You'll see. I just love it. I try to incorporate at least one of the TKB metallics in every one of my bubble bars when I'm painting them, because I just think it looks so beautiful. Alright, so for that I'm still going to stick with my skinny brush, maybe a little bit, yeah, my skinny one. That might be enough. And throughout you might notice like your micas might be drying up. Just add a little bit more rubbing alcohol and that will fix that problem. Again, I'm just letting it pool. Oh, I messed it up there. My hands are a little shaky. Sometimes it's easier to paint around the flower. And I find also if you do this, it will prevent, like if you have an overage of mica, when you drop it in, it will prevent it from going into, like this is almost like a bumper. You know, it prevents it from seeping into this flower here. guys should hear my husband whispering in the other room. And my toddler is out of bed because I'm having an issue with getting her to sleep lately. And he's yelling at her. Well, whispering, yelling, it's funny. Anywho, back to painting here. I was going to make this last night, this video, but I'm recording this on my cell phone, and I realized, okay, I'm not going to be able to hold my cell phone while painting this bubble bar, so I needed to figure that out, and I scoured my boys' room for Legos that were the appropriate size to build myself a stand, which I believe was pretty successful. I have a camera somewhere, but honestly I don't think it's as high quality as a phone, even though this isn't that great either. Oh, and another reason why I like to use the alcohol instead of oil for my mica painting is that the oil, you know, doesn't really ever dry completely. So you're left with something that, you know, might be a little tacky, that often can transfer onto your shrink wrap when you shrink your bubble bars and your fingers, and it's just not, it's not neat. When you're painting with alcohol and mica, and the alcohol evapes, it literally just leaves the mica behind. Like an impacted, pressed mica. Kind of like an, you know, just an eyeshadow, I guess, if it was impacted, impressed. Obviously really tired, it's after 11. Anywho, it's another reason for that. And today, you know, when I first started doing this, I was like, you know, this is gonna get really expensive if I have to keep on throwing out these, you know, rinsing out all this perfectly good mica after I use it every day. But then I was like, you know what, I think I have a good idea. So if you at home, you know, have like an old makeup compact, a pill case is actually what I use with a hinged lid. You can open each compartment separately. If you mix your mica colors in there, and then shut the lid when you're done, you can save them. Even if the alcohol evaporates, which it probably will, honestly, because those lids aren't airtight, you can just add more, you know, alcohol. It's a lot cleaner to keep it like that than to use this little paint palette I'm using, but I wanted to use different colors than what I have in my pill case thingy. Alright, so next I'm gonna do, let's go so far, right? That TKB pigment, so that's horrible. Let me try. Oh, this is a good time for me to show you how to possibly correct some mistakes here. How I overpainted here. Sometimes you can just go over it and try to wash it with a clean brush and alcohol. That did help to clean it up a little bit. As long as your mess isn't completely horrible. Alright, so now we're going to do the blue. I'm going to use the blue in the flowers. 1, 2, 3, and then one at the bottom. Looks really, really vibrant. Like I said, I'm going to link all these comments below, but I got a quite a few micas, the new micas from WSP as well, and I'm using a couple of them today for this. I got them specifically for painting bubble bars, actually. I wanted more vibrant colors. And just a little tip is that you don't want to, I'm going to find my brush. You don't want to use micas that have tons of ingredients in them. For instance, like if it has titanium dioxide, and it has like palmatic acid and all kinds of like different things in it. They don't tend to mix very well with alcohol, so then they get chunky when you paint them. I like to stick with you know, micas that will only have a few ingredients, like if they say mica and whatever colorant is in it with the mica. I think that they perform a lot better. I have tons of different micas that I have purchased. I literally have hundreds of micas. Oh, that's beautiful. This is, like I said, I'm going to list them all below, but this is Boombox Blue from WSP. Anywho, yeah, so that's my tip on that. I have wasted money on buying micas that I thought were going to work for this, and to realize that they didn't mix well at all. They would settle. I would mix them with rubbing alcohol and then they would just settle, and it was kind of really disappointing. Usually when I'm done with my bubble bars, you can't really see any brush strokes. You might be able to here. Hopefully when I go on the second coat, that will get rid of that. But I usually try really hard to make sure that I don't get any. And like that's by trying to just pull it onto the bubble bar instead of paint it on. I'm really happy with the opaqueness of this and the sheen, the little shimmer. I think it looks really beautiful. I really also love using like iridescent micas. TKB has a bunch of different iridescent micas, and they're beautiful, but I'm looking for bold right now, you know, when I'm painting these, and a lot of the iridescent micas are more on the pale, like creamy, pinky, more pastel or neutral tones. Beautiful. You guys think that's pretty, right? Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is make the mouth. I have a bunch of colors here that I want to use, but I'm trying to determine what would be best. I have a purple, you know, I'm gonna make all of the dots purple. Yes. Excuse me. Okay. Get my smallest brush because this can be fun. Literally for the dots, you don't want to stick your brush too far into small spaces because it will just get messy. So I literally just try to drop the mica into the dot. Alright. You see? See where it bled? I kind of figured it was going to do that because I accidentally just added too much rubbing alcohol. So, alright, so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to wait and give the purple some time to evaporate slightly, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to paint the decisions. I'm going to paint the mouth green. squirted. Stupid green. We're gonna fix that. Oh, once I put the purple in there, we'll be fine. Okay, so I got my green all mixed up. Now, I'm gonna go ahead, and I thought I had to swear I had a smaller brush, and that's my daughter, like, literally takes everything from my painting area downstairs, so. Alright, I'm gonna go with a medium-sized brush. This is actually my favorite spot to do because I just love how it looks when it pulls into like the different areas. Looks like I might be able to add a little bit more alcohol to that. It's looking a little soupy. Oh, stewy. Guys, my special husband thinks I'm talking to him right now. Comes in here, getting himself some strawberry milk. All concerned with what I'm doing over here, painting my bubble bars, disturbing me, messing with my zen I got going on here. It's gonna work this time. This green I'm using, by the way, is mostly green, or is it Granny Smith apple mica from, yes, from WSP. And then I put in a little bit of Pennsylvania green from TKB because I want it a little bit darker. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you about the bubble bar recipe. Okay. Well, firstly, I can't formulate a bubble bar recipe to save my life. I have bought 2 recipes. I have tried the free ones on the internet. They wouldn't dry, of course. Too much glycerin, cornstarch, all of those fillers that I don't like. Oh my gosh, my hand's so shaky. I'll clean it up then. Guys, look at me today. Anywho, I bought a recipe that was great. It was really like the Lush style. I got it, it was on Etsy, but it dried super fast, guys. I couldn't, like, you really couldn't do anything with it. It bubbled, it was nice, but you could basically only make a cookie with it. It didn't have a long enough working time, like it was drying as you were using it. It was just not very good for doing pretty things with. So I got that right. Alright, So anywho, so then I was in a search for, most of you that were watching this know who Irene is. She is the owner of Bonbon. You can find her on YouTube. I will link her recipe below. I love her recipe. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't have a lot of fillers, and that's great because you get right to the point, the bubbles, you know, which is awesome for me because I have hard water, so I have a really hard time obtaining any type of bubbles. And I think her recipe is just great. What I love about it the most is that the working time is great. It is so long. If I make it and I make these bubble bars here, and if I don't like how one turned out, then I just crumble it up, roll it out, and do it again. Like, it's that great. And her recipe is very forgiving, and it's so smooth. People have asked me how I get my bars so smooth, and it's really just because of her recipe. I love her recipe, and I'm already thinking of, it's very much like playing with Play-Doh, and I'm thinking about all the other things I can do with it, like sculpt things. It's going to be amazing. By the way, don't think that you can buy her bubble bar recipe separate. I think that you have to buy the icing, the, you know, bubble bar cupcake icing. I'm saying it wrong. Okay. Bubble cream icing is the name of her icing. And then the bubble cream dough, I believe is the name of it, but it's a free recipe that comes with the icing. So you're getting 2 recipes for the price of 1. In my opinion, is super great. In anyone else's opinion is super great as well, I'm sure. You don't have to worry about spending your money to, you know, waste on buying a recipe that you know is going to work good. You know, there's one tried and true. There's other ones as well. There's a couple sellers that do make great recipes. I haven't tried the other ones, so I can only speak for this one. But I don't feel like I need to try the other ones because I love her so much. And it's not just because she's Australian and awesome. And another thing that's great about Irene is that she's extremely helpful. She has a Facebook page dedicated to the people that buy her recipes, you know, to share input, questions, and whatnot, and I think that's really great. She has answered my questions in very timely fashion, and I, you know, tend to bug her at very inappropriate times, like wee hours of the morning, and I shouldn't, and I'm sorry, Irene. I don't realize it, that you're asleep, maybe not asleep. Sometimes she answers me, sometimes she doesn't, but as soon as she wakes up, I know she's going to respond. Right, I got that purple, see? Now, just so you guys know, when I'm not on camera, I tend to do a better job, so sorry about that. Alright, so for my last color, I'm using Midnight Blue, and this one is from TKB. It's like a really dark navy blue. I wanted just some depth. I'm going to put this in the nose and on the heart. With my super, super small brush. By the way, what I like to use is not, I like to use a blend brush, like a synthetic natural bristle blend, because when you're using alcohol, if you use just like a synthetic bristle, it's going to run right off your brush. Your brush isn't going to hold any of it, which, I mean, in this case, you kind of want it to drip onto your bubble bar, but you still want it to have a little bit of grab. And a natural bristle brush, if you use just straight natural bristle, it's going to just absorb all the alcohol, and the brush is going to be kind of dry-like. So it's really nice to get a synthetic blend because then you get the best of both worlds. This is the hardest here. I normally screw this up, but I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to do it right now. Normally, when I'm doing this, I'm not chalking at the same time, unless I'm yelling at my children. But I'm talking to you guys, so I'm distracted very easily. And it doesn't take me this long, ever. I'm gonna try and clean up some of these edges that I messed up here quick. You don't want to brush, if you're cleaning up edges, you don't want to brush too hard, because you're making the bubble bar wet then, and it's going to make it soft, and you can get indents, and it's not very pretty, and you know. Alright, so this is what, you know, it will look like after I do the first coat. Some areas, I might think that I don't need anything extra. Some areas I will. Like the blue looks really good actually. I don't think I'm going to touch that up right now. But this one's not for sale anyways. I already did the other ones. But here, like I don't know if you can you see that? It's a little in the eye. I could use a little bit more. So like I said, if I just notice any kind of bare spots where it's a little see-through, then I just put on another coat. You guys can see that. I messed it up. This skull with the lopsided eyeballs. Anywho, looks like that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my skull painting here. If you have any questions, you can leave it below. I'm not very good at all these videos yet. I try, but this normally looks cleaner. It's a lot of fun to do, and I just love it. It's different. I can make it different every time. I don't have any set colors. I tell my customers that the mica coloring could be different, you know, on every bar, because sometimes, you know, I just gotta try a new mica. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, share, subscribe, all that stuff you're supposed to say when you have a YouTube channel. Yeah, so thank you.